You've got the Jersey Devil, and you've got. I mean, I was just researching into that, and you've got one lady who's convinced she lived with it. Yeah. And the trouble is with these things is that you can almost, and I think there must be a plethora of creatures out there that we don't know, and that are mating, two different species that are mating, and something weird comes out of it, and they can survive, and that's got to be going on somewhere, and I think there's so much out there we don't understand. And I'm ready to accept that, but when someone sits there and they believe it, they're sitting there saying, I lived with it for 6 weeks, or I lived with it for 3 months, you think, you didn't. Yeah. Why? That's when it starts cheapening.
Well, there was actually a guy who claimed many years ago, I think, what was that now? Was that 1920s, I think, or something? He claimed to have been abducted by a Bigfoot in the middle of the night, and he was forcefully taken in this sack, which he was in this kind of this sack for sleeping. Apparently it just picked him up, threw him over his shoulder, and was stuck in a cave with them, a family of them, a female, a young one, and a male, for 2 days before he could actually get out and flee. But he kept his story to himself apparently until around about when Roger Patterson's footage came out of the suspected Bigfoot that he filmed walking across. You've probably seen it. He jumped off his horse and he started filming a Bigfoot walking across, and we've all seen that footage time and time again. And when that footage first came out, it was hoax. Roger Patterson had connections with this, that and the other, and there was a guy in a suit. But now, it's turned completely the other way around. Scientists are saying, through looking at its posture and movement, are basically saying that it's walking as an ape would walk, but with some human characteristics, and that you can go it down to being a female, apparently. So. Yeah,
well, I've watched some of the analytical things where they've taken the muscle movement in the legs and said it is definitely. I mean, for me, the jury's still out. I still think it looks like a bloke in a.
There always will do.
Well, last year, it come up where some young lads got one and captured it and put it in the freezer, and it was being sold on eBay and everything. Ended up being a monkey suit.
Yeah, it was fake. You do get a lot of fakes.
But also, this is one of the things that as we go further on with all this technology that we've got, that one, it helps us to try and catch these things more quickly and more positively. The trouble is, with the more technology we've got, it also helps the fakery. And I think almost in a ratio to the fakery to reality 30 years ago, we're no different now.
I think there was an incident in the 1700s where somebody actually manufactured a fake mermaid and put all these bits and parts together, didn't they? Yeah. And apparently went off to this museum. These museum curators are scratching their heads saying, what is it?
Was that a Barnum thing or a Ripley's Believe It or Not?
Yeah, it was something like that. And they called in some scientists, and they looked at it straight away and went, it's fake. It's obviously been put together. Well, the funny thing is exactly the same thing happened when they found the duck-billed platypus in Australia.
Absolutely.
And they went, oh, what a load of ridiculous, absolutely outrageous. Well, an animal that consists of this, and this. He said, no, it's not a mammal, it's got a beaver's tail, it's got a duck's bill, we're not having it. And they wouldn't accept it for an extra year that actually it was a real animal. Until they actually got it in there and said, look, it's real. Yeah. Somebody thought they'd stuck it on it.
but it's so easy to do, and it's like you look at all of these different exotic creatures, and you have to look only in the sea, all these sea monsters. I know a lot of it comes from fear and these maritime stories of these great creatures, but there are huge eels, there are huge serpents, serpent-like creatures, there are huge squids and octopus. And a lot of these things would have been seen for the first time in, if you look at some of these old engravings that they've had in the sort of 50s, 1600s, of these huge tentacled creatures coming out. But I mean, that's probably just a little bit of an exaggeration of seeing a huge squid going by. Yeah. I mean, it was only in the 70s they found megamouth, a shark in Hawaii. I think 73 they found that, which a completely new species of shark, which they never knew existed. And that's when you think that's only 36 years ago, which is the grand scheme of things.
I think they discovered via video footage last year a giant squid up to 120 feet. Which is huge.
Yeah, and that's what. Can you imagine? I mean, probably now there's less of them around now because of what we're doing to the planet. Yeah. I don't mean us four are doing to the planet. I mean mankind as a whole, because we're doing all right. We're really nice, but But there must be less and less and less of these things. They must be dying out in a regular basis. I mean, do you remember the Japanese trawler that came up with this monster, which was clearly a basking shark? But
it did look like a plesiosaur skeleton at the time, didn't it?
I remember seeing it.
It was in every single book. Didn't that sell that picture?
Oh, God, somebody made an absolute fortune out of it. But great, it's something that would probably, if you saw it, if any of us pulled it out of the sea first, your initial reaction would be, I've got a monster. I've got a monster.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, with Loch Ness. Loch Ness is the biggest, I would say, one of the biggest odd events in the world, especially in this country. And the thing you've got with Loch Ness is, I believe Loch Ness exists, not in the same format as other people. I believe that Loch Ness exists for a belief factor, be it a piece of wood, be it a dog, be it a beast, be it anything. The Loch Ness Monster exists simply because people keep reporting things, whatever it is. It's constant, it's continuous, year after year. A lot of the reports of Loch Ness don't even make the media, don't even make public. They're reported to people who are in the community, in the Loch Ness community, who research it generally. There's a guy who's been down there living in a caravan for 25 years. And people will go to him with the stories. I mean, nothing's been captured, nothing's been seen. People have gone with all sorts of radar, sonar, magnetometers, and caught nothing of consequence. And people are saying that these beasts can't exist in this environment. But hey, as I said before, the Centre for Fortean Zoology are coming forward year after year after year with new information of new animals that are being found that normally you'd say, well, I shouldn't live in that.
Exactly, but who are we to say something that we don't actually know what it is can exist in a specific environment? We don't know what the Loch Ness Monster is. See, my whole thing with the Loch Ness Monster is, why not? Everyone keeps saying why, or prove it, but why not? Why can't it? Why can't there be?
Why should it be any different than anything else?
Absolutely. What's that? I can't. This is going to show my ignorance. But there's a fish found and thought extinct since dinosaur.
The one with the really big,
strange.
The strange big scales.
It was only half finished.
It wasn't that long ago when they discovered it.
And they thought it was extinct for...
That's right.
Again, there was a monkey not long ago, exactly the same again. They thought it existed, it was extinct, and now the monkey's popped up again.
See, this is what we're finding, this sort of concept, in this sort of world where we kind of, we as human beings like to think we're in control of everything, or we know everything, or what we don't know we're certainly finding out about. These things are cropping up, this sort of nature.
Well, we don't exactly live in areas where... they're populated by creatures like that. I mean, humans are naturally drawn towards the ocean. We like to stay out of difficult areas to live in, like jungles, things like that. There are lots of things. When the first Japanese fella called out that jungle and said, "I've seen a bear. I think it's black and white. It eats nothing but leaves." Everyone said, "You're a flaming idiot.
You've lost it.
You've lost the plot." And when they found out that there is such a bear, how can it, it's black and white in the middle of a green jungle, and he only eats one type of food.
Eats shoots and leaves.
That's right. And it took him 30 years to find it. The panda bear.
It's that point, or is it? But again, what we've done with that now. I know it's this extinct thing and all that, which I agree we should try and keep these things so they don't go extinct. But we grabbed them, we put them in captivity, and we're trying to get them to mate. And even they're going, don't want to.
Don't fancy it.
I don't fancy it, so I'm not going to do it.
No, especially the panda.
But it's put there. There are so many things out there that we don't know, especially in the sea, because we don't even know how deep it is. And we've got a rough idea it goes to the centre of the earth, but there's only a certain depth it can be. But we don't know what is down there.
Not at all. I mean, there's a plethora of creatures in the UK which have been reported. We've got Bigfoot. We've got a Bigfoot sighting in Cannock Chase, the wild man of Cannock Chase. We've got Staley Bridge, not very far way down the road from these studios, where Walker's Wood Reservoir, there was something not dissimilar reported several years ago. We've had large pike in Martin Mera.
So I'm going to have to stop you there and carry on after the break, because we have to leave you for a couple of minutes, but please don't go away.